The Evening Star, Washington, D.C., Tuesday, December 4th, 1917. 1 cent. President urges war against Austria. President urges war on Austria at joint session. Immediate declaration of war against Austria-Hungary was recommended to Congress today by President Wilson in his annual message to Congress. His same logic would lead also to a declaration of war against Turkey and Bulgaria, but they are the mere tools of Germany and do not yet stand in a direct path of our necessary action, he said. The President's address was considered of such great importance in the development of the war that it was sent in advance to nearly all the principal capitals of the civilized world. The President said, "Our present and immediate path is to win the war, and nothing shall turn him aside from it until it is accomplished. Peace," the President declared, "could come only when the German people make it through rulers the world can trust, when they make reparation for the destruction their present rulers have wrought, and when Germany recedes from all the territory acquired by armed conquest." A wild demonstration, which lasted about 30 seconds, greeted the President's recommendation that Austria-Hungary be declared in a state of war. Senators and representatives arose in their seats and applauded vigorously, while visiting members of the diplomatic corps smiled as they applauded. Want war also on Turks and Bulgars. Congressmen of both parties say President should have included nations. Acting Republican leader Gillette of the House and other Republicans regretted the President did not include Turkey and Bulgaria in the war declaration proposal. "It's a very strong message," said Mr. Gillette. "I sympathize with its sentiments. The President puts very clearly what I thoroughly believe, that our important work is, first, to make sure of winning the war, and second, that peace should be established with justice to all nations, so that military autocracy shall not again disturb the world's peace. I share fully his opinion that we should declare war against Austria, and only regret that he did not include Turkey also, for I think her barbarous treatment of the Armenians has made her an outlaw among all nations. I don't share the President's distinction between Austria and Turkey and Bulgaria," said Representative Longworth. "I think we ought to declare war against all three." Speaker Clark and Democratic leader Kitchen said they would not discuss the message until they had had time to read it carefully. Senators and representatives were of practically the unanimous opinion that the President's message today was the greatest state paper ever prepared by him, and sounded the keynote upon which will depend the winning of this war. "It was the greatest the President has ever delivered," declared Chairman Chamberlain of the Senate Military Affairs Committee. "Its frankness will appeal to the head and heart of the American people and will find a prompt response from all." Senator Lodge, a member of the Foreign Relations Committee, declined to make any comment regarding the message. "It was an inspiration," asserted Senator Pittman from Nevada. "He put into words the very things we have all been thinking about. It was the frankest and broadest declaration that has ever been made and can leave no room for any misrepresentation at all." Senator Smoot declared that the first part of the message, in which the President discussed our relations with Germany, was too idealistic, but added that from the recommendation of a state of war against Austria-Hungary to the end, it was an American message. "It was the ablest message Mr. Wilson has ever delivered," commented Senator Underwood. "It sounded the keynote upon which we must win this war." Senator Ashurst declared the message was a wonderful document from beginning to end. "The only thing I was sorry about," he added, "was that the President did not recommend a declaration of a state of war against Bulgaria and Turkey also." "I have been in favor of declaring war against Austria for some time," said Chairman Flood of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. "I am delighted that the President recommended it. I am going to introduce tomorrow morning a resolution carrying out the President's recommendations, and have called the Foreign Affairs Committee together for tomorrow afternoon and hope that the resolution will be reported out without delay. Should be law by Friday. It ought to pass the House Thursday or Friday and ought to become law Friday night. We will not take up Turkey and Bulgaria at this time, but they will be considered later on. I think it will be necessary to declare war against them too." Senator La Follette of Wisconsin declined to comment on the address. "Any comment of mine will be given on the floor of the Senate," he said. Senator McCumber of North Dakota, a Foreign Relations Committee member, said the message was a strong document. He declared the committee would thoroughly go over and consider from every aspect the proposal to declare war on Austria and not the other Teutonic allies. "I agree with the address in its entirety," said Chairman Fletcher of the Senate Commerce Committee, Democrat. "I think it is right to declare war against Austria only. The whole address was fine, its logic irresistible and unanswerable, but it means a long session of Congress." 6. Held on charges of conspiracy to rob U.S. New York, December 4th. Conspiracy to defraud the United States government out of hundreds of thousands of dollars on contracts for more than 1 million service hats is charged in an indictment returned today against William B. Tom, John J. Slattery, Joseph Ives, and Edward Slattery, connected with the corporation of Tom and Bailey, the Peekskill Hat Manufacturing Company, and the firm of H.D. Parmalee and Company. Arthur C. Gilson and Peter J. Duffy, inspectors of the Quartermaster Corps, are named as co-conspirators in the indictment. The four first-named defendants entered pleas of not guilty when arraigned in the federal court. Tom and John J. Slattery were released on bonds of $5,000 each, Ives on a bond of $2,500, and Edward Slattery on a bond of $1,000. Gilson and Duffy were expected to plead later. New Norwegian ships sunk without trace. London, December 4th. During the last few days, a number of Norwegian ships are reported to have been sunk by submarines, according to an exchange telegraph dispatch from Copenhagen. Up to now, Norway has lost about 800 ships in this manner. Norwegian papers assert that new and powerful ships are being sunk without a trace.